Alright, I have my Freewing F-86 Sabre jet out here again this morning, 64mm EDF. I have cut those air inlet holes in the sides of the fuselage between the shelf and the EDF unit. I did connect a battery to it last night, a full battery, ran it all the way up, full throttle, and it was actually pulling 2.5 fewer amps after doing that than it was prior. So these guys that were talking about this EDF unit being starved for air, they might be correct. So I'm going to try another belly launch with it, and I wondered, could I be giving it too much throttle because I'm launching at full throttle. So I'm gonna kick that back to about 75% and try a belly launch with it and see if we're successful at getting it in the air or not. This jet has been an absolute failure getting it in the air. Once I get it in the air, it seems to fly just fine, but it is just terribly difficult to launch. And I know there's a lot of people that were saying the same thing about this jet. So let's see if providing more airflow through there is going to actually help. Let's crank it up to about 75% throttle and throw it in the air and see what happens. Alright, feels like I've got a breeze right in my face right now. So we're going to be launching across the road. Alright, are we ready? There we go. Let's try it. Oh, that worked well. Oh man, I am telling you. Alright, I'm going to try a wingtip launch again. That is just awesome. Make sure everything's still working. Alright, we're going to try a wingtip launch this time. Make sure my canopy is on there. Alright, ready? We're going to try this again. Once again, it's a bear to get in the air. And did you see that? I don't get this jet. It's just not very good. Alright, let's see, how much damage have we got now? I am really seriously thinking about putting a 4S in this, because a 3S just does not seem adequate for it. I'm kind of thinking this probably should have been a 4S right off the bat. Alright, let's try it again. 75% throttle really didn't seem to help all that much, did it? Alright. Let's try it again. Boy, until that gets up to speed, it just wants to dip that wing. Let's see how it flies now. At least we got blue skies out here today. Yeah, I am just not real impressed with this one, boys. Do you see that stall? I almost lost it there. Yeah, that was terrible. It just didn't seem to have enough power to even do a loop. Of course, I've nosed it in so frequently now. Who knows what kind of damage there is to it? All right, I've got one of my old 1300s in here. Wow. Oh man, I am just not impressed with this at all. Man, what a shame. This thing is just, what a pain. Alright, I'm gonna put another battery pack in it and see if I can launch it again. I've already cracked the foam on the front of it again. Oh my gosh, what a problem child. Yeah, this was not a good choice for my very first EDF jet, that is for sure. Alright, let's put another battery pack in it and just see if we can total it out here today. You never know, we could do that.
Okay, so would I recommend this EDF jet? Short answer, no. No, I would not recommend this EDF jet. No way, no how. It's really unfortunate, you know, before it got so dinged up and dented up, it was a beautiful looking airframe, and I have always loved the look of the F-86 Sabre jet. It's just an awesome looking airframe, I think. Unfortunately, it's got a good sized motor on it, but they put just a 5-blade fan. I think it's 5-blade fan. And even with that, even with just a 5-blade fan, this EDF unit cannot pull enough air through. And I know you couldn't see it very well in the last video. Maybe you can see it there. Maybe you can see where the shelf is. But that is blocking a lot of airflow, and that is the only air inlet for this airframe. And like I said out in the field, when I cut the two holes, you know, I got matching holes on both sides of the fuselage, those air inlet holes, and then ran it up full throttle. It was pulling 2.5 fewer amps at full throttle than it was before I cut those air inlet holes. So I think at this point this is going to be a practice EDF plane for me, a warm-up EDF plane, so that when I have the opportunity to put other EDF jets in the air, because if you can launch this EDF jet, you can launch probably any EDF jet out there. I'm surprised after all those failed launches and all those nose in and to the ground out there in the desert, my landing skids are still attached. I think that is probably the best part of this airframe at this point. I'm debating whether or not, since it only has a 5-blade fan, of switching out that 30 amp ESC with a 40 amp ESC that's rated for a 2S to 4S LiPo. I have some tattoo 1050, I think they're 100C LiPos. So if it doesn't produce a ridiculous amount of amp draw on a 40 amp ESC, what I might do is put a 40 amp speed controller in it, run it up at full throttle with a 4S. If it's not pulling an ungodly amount of amps, then what I might do is take it back out there with a 4S LiPo, put it in the air, and see if we can at least get some decent loops and split S maneuvers out of it. It should produce a sufficient amount of power on a 4S. If that doesn't work, I mean, if it's pulling too many amps on a 4S, even with a 40 amp speed controller, then I will probably just keep it as a 3S. I'll make some louvers to cover these inlets so that they look, so it looks better, and then I'll just keep this around as a practice EDF jet. Practice my launches, practice my landings, cruise around with it, you know. But other than that, I'm very disappointed that this turned out the way it did. I'm very disappointed that I spent my money on it. But it is what it is. You know, not everything that we review is going to be worthy of purchasing, and this one is definitely not worthy of purchasing, in my opinion. Now, I'm not the only one. I read a lot of documentation on this when I took it out the first time and was having so many problems with it. And you have to put full throttle on this on the 3S and give it a pretty hefty launch. And the only way that I can give this enough speed for takeoff, even at full throttle, is to launch it by the wingtip, to flip it around and release it from the wingtip. And that is the only success really that I have had at getting this in the air successfully. So anyway, moving along, there are much better EDF jets out there to purchase, so I don't recommend this one. Thanks for watching, and I might see you in the air.